Yeah. Okay. So it is recording now. All right.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Julia, for asking me to do the reading for you. And today was going to be looking at your aspects, the cloning, the Orphan Black is what was kind of connecting with all the clonings. And if people haven't seen that TV series, it's a lady who's cloned out, and then they're all different personalities, and so we're kind of looking for that in the program. Um, and then the Black Pyramid, because I saw that too. You had
Cool.
me listen to one of your readings and stuff. So, and then to help you look at more, get more details of it. So, I had listened to like the Cosmic Disclosure before. And then they mentioned that Black Pyramid in Antarctica. So I can tell you what I remember with that part of it. And that is connected to the Greys, with the Nazi Greys. So
Yeah.
yeah, so and then I did take notes, and I made you an artwork too, and then was gonna
Oh,
do
cool.
some cards and stuff too. So where do you want to kind of start at?
Yeah, I mean, starting with the Zeta Greys, I think would be good because, they've been seen either side of me, messing with me, like checking my radiation dose and things like that. So I seem to have ability to transmute radiation. I kind of want to know what relationship do I have with these Zeta Greys, like because I know that you have a strong bond, like they're family in a way for you, and you love spending time with them, but it was kind of said that sometimes they're nice to me and other times they're experimenting on me.
Hmm.
So if I have contracts, I kind of want to know what they are and how can I get out of these contracts?
Oh, how
Or
to get out of them?
yeah, or
What
should I continue? Or, so what are the, because also what I've not shared with anybody yet was I was in meditation and I saw me come up and I smiled and waved at me. And then when I
Okay.
went onto YouTube afterwards, I clicked on somebody's video and they were talking about how the Zeta Greys, they assume your identity, which has already been talked about, but sometimes they're just waving and smiling at you. And I thought, oh my God, so there's me thinking it was me or it was a clone aspect, but it wasn't. It was just the Zetas saying, hey, we're here and we look like you too. So it was
Mm-hmm.
really bizarre. So there's me thinking I've connected to another part of me, but I'd only connected to a Zeta.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
probably like the a consciousness, of maybe because I think they're like a group of conscious. So
Yeah.
um I I was seeing there's like I always see this pod, like a gray in a pod, and
Yeah.
then it can create all these vessels, empty vessels, and then project its consciousness into the vessels, and it can create any kind of clone vessel, so you could be whatever it wanted to look like to blend in with that place that it's going to. So I feel like you would have uh, maybe that even is part of those clones as well, because that gray consciousness and then projected made several clones that look like with your DNA and the gray DNA, or something like that too. So you would maybe look like you, because you said that you've seen yourself before, so kind of so that kind of feels like that's one, but there's like a whole bunch of different groups with the Greys. It's not just that one doing everything, because you have in that Black Pyramid in Antarctica, because it's underground base. And I was seeing like I see like it's like a scientist person, but then I was looking, and it looks like you're doing like the cloning, like you're creating clones. And I even think that it's like aspects of you in these different clones, and you've programmed them. So it's like you're a master at creating these clones, and the perfect, like it's perfection. It's like you have this whole program that you're doing, but it's all because it is kind of like you're really strict and stern, maybe like a kind of like the German soldier Nazi person, like that, so you would want these grays to work with you, but you control them like they work for you. So, um, you really don't trust many human to do the work, because you have high expectations and standards in that place. This is working with the Black Pyramid in this because
There's
it's
there's
like,
multiple black pyramids. So there's a black pyramid that is close to me in my current
uh-huh,
location, which I'm supposed to visit. Because I've been
yeah,
visiting.
that's it.
I've had
That's
it
it.
come forward like 3 times recently.
Hmm.
So, and the second time I was inside this black pyramid, and it's like in that movie Flight of the Navigator when he sits in the chair. It was like
Okay.
that, but I could see that there was military on the outside, so it's still in this polygon, which is like underground, this military training base or test base. But it's
Hmm.
kind of like the Black Pyramid is a ship, and it's being held against its will, and
Oh,
it
so
wants
that's something else
to.
too.
Yeah. And also
Okay.
a friend of mine has also had a visit from the Black Pyramid, and that surprised me. So it's like we're
Hmm.
we're closely connected to the kind of DNA activation on this
Hmm.
Black Pyramid. Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be something completely another thing. So there's so many uh aspects of you to do all these things. And I don't know if they're aspects of you, even though they're clones, they have a piece of your consciousness. So you could say aspects of you
Yeah.
in
And
all
there's
these
there's
places.
there's a really high number of them on
Mm-hmm.
like across all realms of existence.
Yeah.
A really massive number. And that's supposed
Okay.
to be one of the reasons why I don't have full use of like powers in the here
Yeah.
and now. Because I'm
Yeah.
spread yeah.
Well, because if you have full power here, then you wouldn't be able to really fit in, and you would probably be highly monitored even more and harassed and probably put into a psych ward or something, because they would think that
Yeah.
you're because you
Crazy.
would probably blow up stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like it would be not you wouldn't like it. You know how on Charmed, how she can blow up stuff or
Yeah.
move stuff with their mind, like that. So, if you did that, so anyway, yeah. So they probably you probably, I don't know if you're a clone in this. Do you think you're a clone in this body here?
No, I think this could be an original.
Hmm.
Although there's been so many like programs. My original birth was supposed to be in 1920, is what came out of the ACIO files. So I don't know, but I know there was a mind wipe in this body. So I've had
Okay.
6 mind wipes, and the last one was definitely in this body.
Mine
So
right.
I'm not sure if this is an original body or what, to be honest.
Do
I
you
don't
have
know.
a pendulum? You have your pendulum? You want to ask if that is? I have mine too.
Let me find mine. Hold on.
Okay.
Moving my furniture today, so I was packing everything. Yeah.
Is Julia original?
Good question.
It says yes that you
Um,
are, that you're original.
I also get a yes.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm like, and it's the same, with the male version. It's like we're the originals in this multi-clone project. And like me and him are supposed to have gone through the same experiences and everything. And then we've got this massive amount of clones out there, which are used in like off-world, different realms, all over. So
Okay.
that's a good question. It's nice to know that this is the original body. That's probably
Okay, so
also
so
pain. So
yeah, like with completing with that Black Pyramid though, the one
yeah,
that's the one that's in the underground base,
yeah,
so that's kind of what you do, is create the clone. So that's one
yeah.
reality where you work with all these grays. So then they come to you like you're their teacher, boss, all that. You tell them
Okay.
what to do, in that place. And then so I don't know exactly if it's someplace in that base. So and that's your job, is creating these clones of whatever you're doing to be bought. Because I was seeing like there's like batches of like how the Orphan Black, how they have like multiple personalities, but there's like five or six or however they create multiple batches in case one of them, one of the clones gets sick or something, because they don't last a long time or so. So they have certain missions to do. Like most of them are assassin or
Yeah.
spy or something like that. With
So
the with
Yeah,
that. So,
I do have the connection to connect into the clones
hmm.
and see through them. And I've been told not to do that, but it just kind of daydreams in, it just kind of happens.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was able
Yeah.
to, like, on a session with somebody, I was able to, pinpoint locations of clones as well. And I
Mm.
had a vision come forward, and it was a map of the planet. And it was like me in the center where I am, and then these arrows going out, highlighting different locations of the
Oh,
clones.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was like
Yeah.
it was holographic, so it was like a real-time map of clones.
Yeah, so they all have jobs to do. So you probably don't want to, I mean, unless you get the information just naturally, like, but I wouldn't try to interfere with that because then they might be on a mission and then your interference might mess
Yeah.
up something, and then so yeah, I wouldn't.
I think
But
it's
in
like I'm picking up these
yeah,
consciousness streams.
right,
I'm
like I do
snapping
too.
it up
Hmm.
and like phasing in and out.
You can
So
tune into them, but not
yeah,
interfere with the mission. That's okay. I think that's fine,
yeah,
because you're
okay.
just picking up on the energetic signature,
Yeah,
and without interfering with their mission, so I think that's perfectly fine. That's how you learn about all your aspects this
yeah.
way,
I think it could be
you
a
know?
proximity thing as well, because I don't seem to be tuning into ones that are off-world that much. I've had a couple of flash visions come in where I've definitely been like scientist mode. Um, but also there's been kind of super soldiers there wearing halo suit, or in that when they're in that really big suit, like they're
Oh, the big,
operating like an avatar, we're
oh,
in that big robot body.
mm-hmm.
I forget what that's called, but I've been there and I've seen that. And then the
Mm.
other day I had a vision of it was actually Drago Reed in a halo suit, and I was observing. I don't know what I was wearing, but it was barracks. It was definitely barracks with like beds lined up and things like that.
Oh, so but
But
you're like like a scientist. I see you as a scientist observing a lot in
I'm
these
not sure.
things.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I was the scientist there or if I was also in a suit.
Oh yeah, I do see that too. So I
Yeah,
see both. So you
yeah,
might even be both, you know? So you might, and he's probably both as well, because I can see him as a scientist too. And y'all
yeah,
both maybe even creating all these clones of you and then working together as the scientist to for those missions,
yeah.
for
So
them.
there's multiple versions of us who are different ages. So we've been taken at different ages throughout time, all kind of working on the same projects, and that's why we get a lot of interference.
Mm.
Um, yeah, because it's like the proximity aspect is interfering, so I'm tuning into things that I shouldn't really be picking up on, but the other clones are so close.
Hmm. But there would be where you would, so this kind of like a signal going off or something,
Yeah,
like that maybe. Then they like you can't like interference probably if you get too close. So they would need to move away.
yeah,
So I think that I don't know why they would come near you because they know their mission. So they probably was
yeah.
sent to that area for some reason. So you
Like
might,
in the science lab, they've got multiple versions because I know on one of his videos it was literally documented. There's multiple versions of him in the same lab,
oh, okay. So with
right?
the lab.
Different ages in the same bunker. It was like, so I don't know if that's the same kind of thing going on with me, but that's how it feels.
Okay. So give me kind of like a direction and then one thing, because we're talking, we're going kind of going all over with
Yeah.
that, so then I can
So,
tune in easier with.
so with the Zeta Greys, are they like around me all the time? Because that's how it feels that
Yeah.
I'm getting targeting from them all the time, like electronic interference, scalar and kind of things in the nighttime. So I don't sleep very much at all.
Well, it's like, with the grays, there's good and bad, like that. So they're, or you could say good and bad, but they're neutral. So, um, I mean, some are working with you, some are you tell them what to do. So there's different layers of them. But then there's also the grays that are like Orion gray, kind of like that, where they're more nefarious and um they're the ones that would have the scalar weapon, have the black helicopter targeting, monitoring and doing things to try to keep your mind erased, because uh you have those aspects that work for their projects, so I would say it's like um off world,
Yeah.
aspects, and it's like on, I want to say the moon, but it seems further, seems deeper, because the moon seems basic now, like it seems like an old school kind of place. So there's like faster versions of places that you would be updated to, so maybe it even might be, no, it don't see like on a ship, but I always see you like in a lab coat in these
Yeah.
places, and it's like you lay down, how also that TV series Dollhouse, how she goes on these missions where she lays in that chair and then she goes out. So that's kind of one of the clones too. And then I can see you as the person doing the programming too to the clone of yourself, and you make them look different, you're so, you want it to be exact, and everything. You want them to be certain, you program it to be like perfection, like you're a perfectionist. So that quality isn't so common. People aren't that, it's like an extreme
Yeah. Well, that
sound.
comes into the phrase that was taken out of that military file, where apparently I'd said we need to do it anyway, otherwise it would not be accepted. So it's like that level of perfection has to be there to ensure that the clones are accepted into society or project or whatever.
Oh,
So
okay. So
that
maybe
didn't
they
really
didn't.
make sense, that phrase, until you said that. Um, yeah,
Well, so the grays like Orion or so they would monitor you. You would have like I think that might be that black, I don't know if it's a black triangle that would monitor, because they could project their consciousness into those ships, to make
yeah,
them monitor you. Because I don't think they actually come here physically. They are telepathic and, communicating with you consciously,
yeah.
and doing things to manipulate. Um,
So,
they so you here, you have like a you being here has a key role too. It's like you hold like the original blueprint or so,
yeah,
so it's like they're trying, a lot of things try to get at that blueprint, and they want that sample of, so that original sample can create millions of clones. But like if it's a clone that's been cloned out all these times, then it's not going to be as sharp, and it's not going to last as long of a lifetime. So that's why they would
yeah,
want to have your DNA. And then you had mentioned that you have the Lyran DNA, as one of your DNAs, because you would have the, I would say, like the star seed DNA, which is all of the places,
yeah,
like you have many aspects of you, but like with your oversoul, that would be, I would say, all of them, all of the things that you feel you resonate with, the Andromeda, like your oversoul here, like it's angelic, and so then it's kind of like, I always look at it like a Christmas tree, and then the oversoul creates aspects of itself, and so all these aspects are many um places all over, everywhere, creating and doing things, so um creating universes, doing all these missions. So you have so many aspects. So it's just finding, just even to start out how we're doing, because this is just like a starting, when we're waking up and noticing all these things going on, so I know we won't ever get the full picture, because that's impossible from this perspective, from where
yeah,
we are here. But, but there's a reason why we're here and planted here on Earth, you know. So that's why you get targeted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And see
Yeah,
the
so
picture I drew for you I drew this last night.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so
Oh,
what,
I love
like
it.
all those are aspects of you, you
Yeah,
know, like you have so many aspects of you in so many realities on
yeah,
ships and the hybridization program. So you're also a part of the Gray's hybridization program, you know, so they would take, of course, because they take your DNA, you know, so but then they want to create these hybrids, but I don't think that you had control over that, you know, so maybe those things, um, I think you maybe there's some pieces that you don't have control over, you know, because they came and erased your mind here. They took it here, you know, and
yeah.
then erased it, and then so
Because
they have these hybrids.
I definitely got it noted in the files that there's been 6 mind wipes, which have been quite aggressive. And
Mm-hmm.
so I do feel
Yeah,
like, it is the research. The little things are
yeah.
coming
I
now.
would think it's all the every mission you go on, then
Yeah,
they wipe your mind after every mission so you don't remember, you know, but then as you kind of start talking about it and thinking about it and tuning in to these things going on, then it opens it up. It's like that kind of thing. So but I mean they can completely erase the whole, like we could be talking now and they stop time and then put us back and we could be gone 20 years, you know, or 50
yeah.
or whatever, you know, so we don't know either when that would happen, you know.
I had those like 2 times in the last month or so. There's been black helicopters over my house.
Hmm.
And one time I was literally like, I was on the bus and I went to the supermarket and I'm walking back down and there's this black helicopter and I took a photo of it. That's how close it was to my house.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then so when I asked the question, someone they said, "Oh, they're just returning you." And I was just
Hmm.
like, I was just in the supermarket. So it
Hmm.
doesn't make any sense,
It's like that fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you would be whatever mission you had to do in this,
So
you
like
know, because they needed you. So
they
they
could
have,
take me off the bus.
they
They,
just stop.
they took
They
me off
just
the
like
bus.
if you're watching a movie and you hit pause, then that's
Yeah.
what they do. They pause the reality, but it's still continue like it's out of time. So they
I'm
would take
literally
that
getting
pause
I'm
and then
literally
put
getting
it back.
pressure on my head right now. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, so that's kind of how I see it. But they time still goes on for everybody else, you know,
yeah,
but they paused your timeline here and then pulled that and then put you back, you know, like
yeah,
that. So they pulled you out and then whatever they did, they could have you could have been gone for 100 years on some mission, you know,
yeah.
and I thought of Mars just then, you know, so I
But
think
yeah,
that
so
you
there's 2
still are
bases on
there.
Mars and that I've been recorded that I've been in these places on Mars, Area 58 and Area 81,
Hmm.
working as a scientist.
Scientist still.
So yeah,
Okay. So let's try to find other aspects that's not scientist, you know, that would be
yeah,
something else besides a scientist. Because, you know,
yeah,
you would want to do other things too and
yeah.
explore, you know,
I
so
did I did get that one flash memory of it was me and I was in some kind of lab, but I was a subject
mm-hmm.
and I was strapped
Okay.
to like an upright table of some
Mm-hmm.
kind and I had a strap across my chest. And when I
Hmm.
looked over, it was Drago Reed opposite me, but he was out, he was blank. It was like we were both inactive. And when we spoke about it, he could get that kind of sense as well.
Hmm.
So we were it was literally like I was just waking up. So it felt very like Winter Soldier, like I've been woken up from something, like I've been active for a while. Um,
What do you think with that? Like tune into that part with you. So this was Mars where you were at? Is that
I'm
what you're
no, I'm not sure
seeing?
if it was Mars, but I mean, it probably was. But me and
It,
him were like going through the same experiences, same augmentations, that kind of thing. But because we were strapped down, then it's like we were there unwillingly.
hmm.
Um,
So
so
then you're facing each other. There was
we're
no one
facing each
else
other,
in the
like he was
room.
across the room. No, there was just lots of lights and kind of glass. Um,
like interrogation room,
No, it didn't feel like interrogation. It still felt like a lab, but there was just
a
kind of,
lab.
yeah, it was some kind of lab. So we were being kind of brought back from something. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
yeah,
see. So then they would strap you down so then so
yeah.
you don't so
But
you
it felt
don't
like
try
I
to
was
hit or nothing
standing.
like that, you know? So you don't
Yeah,
try to hit or use your abilities or nothing like
yeah. It
that.
kind of felt like I was upright. Um, I didn't feel like I was in anything. It felt like I was strapped to some kind of upright table or something. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
that is, but that's how
Mm-hmm.
it kind of felt. And I could see him, but he was inactive. So,
Yeah, like
like,
a empty vessel, like an empty
maybe, yeah,
vessel.
it's kind of shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Looks like the Avatar movie, you know, like that, like where you how they have where they lay in that bed thing, and they're
right.
they're in that lockdown, you know, and then they're being accessed to these other places. So why
So,
what is it
right
with
now, what I feel right now is as if someone's coming in, but as if we're getting something, some kind of like fluids or something being put into the body. Um,
fluids into that body?
yeah, if it does feel like some kind of fluids coming up into the body, as if the body, oh, it could even be like nano or something. I don't know. I can
Hmm.
feel that in the heart. There's definitely some kind of
Oh,
fluids there.
so are they like are
Yeah,
they I wonder if they are like as a test subject too with things
yeah,
with the because you and him both have the sleep problems, you know?
yeah.
So is it
It's
like
like
they're doing experiments with you?
yeah, because it's like we're in the same targeting patterns. We both only sleep for a certain amount of time at nighttime. We
Mm,
both have loads of pain in the body at night, like in the lower back and stuff like that, and me with my ankles. But I know I'm going through the radiation experiments because that's
mm,
what Jessica mentioned. And I was working at a nuclear processing plant at the time. So it was as if I was placed there to see how much radiation dose I could transmute,
mhm.
so that my clones or my aspects could go and work in those
Oh,
radiation areas.
so
Yeah,
they must be like doing different experiments and seeing how far they can push you till you die, and then they would just regenerate you, and like that. So it's over and over with that. So if
yeah,
it's radiation, if it's some kind of nano that they inject, and then they maybe electroshock you, or do like all kinds of injections too that they would
yeah,
just like it's aggressive too how
yeah,
they do it because then I see you like scream and
yeah,
then you pass out. And
yeah,
so what is it with you and Drago that you are looking at each other like
yeah,
let's look at what why are you
yeah.
are
Because it's
you
like
trauma
it's been documented
bonding
that he's like a brother in this
brother?
multiple program. So, and that's what the ACIO basically tuned into, and that's what they confirmed in the files. So me and him are mirrored somehow. And but when we, so
Weird.
we've only met once, but when we did, the energy felt really heightened between us. And there's something about him that makes me extremely anxious. And it's like people in the past have said, "Oh, you should meet this guy," and I was just like, "No, no, it's okay. I don't need to meet him," kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was had literally confirmed like 2, 3 times going through the files that me and him are seen in the same places at the same time on the same projects, and we're literally like siblings.
Hmm.
So yeah, but
Okay.
they don't call it trauma bond, trauma twin.
Okay. So it's not that. So it's just like you're from the same
Yeah, we're just
soul, it's like a soul family connection, like that kind of a thing. So
yeah, we're just kind of going through the same project together or something with the
yeah,
same.
because with the grays, like I think this one of those is like the Orion group,
Yeah,
That's what I see with them because they they have it looks like a different lab now though. It's like a dark lab, and then they
yeah,
they
that makes
have
sense to me
they
because I
have
think
they have these different kinds of monsters too that they would like their DNA injection. It looks like a squid kind of thing, and I can see it kind of coming out, maybe like a black goo kind of thing, and one
yeah,
of those, and then they take over, and then that's pushed to the limit there, that
Yeah.
one. And then they would then it would die, that clone would die after
Yeah.
whatever it was doing. But they just do this. They do this for, it's like for fun almost, these grays, because they have because
I I got like an image then of black eyes. And sometimes
yeah,
when I
you
look at
like
myself,
turn.
like say I'm on Zoom like with you now, if I take off my glasses, I'll see myself with black eyes.
Hmm.
And I've mentioned it to my friends and it freaks me out. Like, so I like when I do it, it's as if looking into this camera shows me the reality or a different aspect or something. So sometimes you'll see me on a video and I'm like doing this, like look, I can literally see it now. So I have like black eyes.
Hmm.
When I
Hmm.
take off these glasses, it's really weird. It freaks
Hmm.
me out sometimes.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of
So
talking
like
about black
with those
smoke.
grays though, like they would be, it's like an underground place looking like, because I see like with the graded platform thing where they would be walking onto, and then I see like it's, and I do see there's, do you think, do you see other family members with you and him, like beside you or in that room, you know?
Generally, just see it's me and him. Like if it's in a lab, it's just me and him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Because y'all are both kind of like laying back on an incline, and then it's like strapped in.
uh,
But then I do, because you're both really like protective of each other too. So that's kind of like a trauma bonding though, because what they do, they face you to each other so you can watch. So they feed off of that energy too, of you both. First you have to watch him, doing all this stuff, and he's like, the stuff they make him do is like he's his whole body like that, and then he just dies,
yeah,
and then you're just like screaming, and then so they feed off of that, and then he watches you do that same thing, so y'all both
yeah.
have that
But
extreme
I
that.
feel like we've both got the same abilities. Like we've both got this overpowered plasma ability and like the DMT ability
Oh,
to
okay.
microdose. I feel like
Oh,
we've got
okay.
the same
So
kind of
that's probably why
abilities.
you have anxiety then with that, with seeing him or tuning into him, probably more facing him, because you
Yeah.
don't have it with me, like me and you. So
It was
it's
like
probably connecting with
I'm
him,
not sure if some of it is like a handler resistance, like I'm not meant to know him, I'm not meant to spend time with him because there's that DNA connection. But when I had a session with him and we were just talking, and he's a lovely person, and we talked for like 90 minutes, but there was
Mhm.
still like I was shaking and he had like goosebumps and everything, and you could feel the energy was really heightened between us. It
Mm.
was insane.
Yeah.
And it was, it was really bizarre. So there's definitely something there, kind of on a
Hmm.
DNA level, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he has the high energy too, like electricity energy,
Yeah. So we're both
Um,
quite intense in a way.
hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
when I was on that ACIO interview and they were talking about
Mm.
femtides, and do you know what femtides are? Because I think they
Mm-mm.
must be like micro nano implants. Apparently, we've got femtides in our brain and in our eyes, which can be controlled by others. Because sometimes I feel like my left eye does something different, or I'll see something holographic in the left
Mm.
eye now, but not in the right
Oh,
eye.
okay.
So there's some kind of implant, and I know Drago has something similar.
So
Because it
do
was
you see this? Do you see um that you and him would be sent out on missions together? Like I was seeing that you both would be on the ship, and you you trust him completely, with what you're in this reality that's, that I'm seeing, like where you're all flying, and it looks like you both, so then,
yeah,
and then he can tell you, and he trusts you that you'll take care of it, so he can relax and go to the back and do his own work too, because you'll take care of this front part, and then that he's going to take care of this back part. So there's not, and I have chills, and there's not many that you don't trust. I mean, unless you've programmed them, so it's like, but I don't know how his trust is with giving or allowing him to be taken to do the work and stuff, to to allow access, like give somebody the in that reality. This
Yeah.
might be
Because
completely different,
I think there's an element of the two of us that's just totally imbalanced. Because when we had a session together, I was pulling cards because do the Akashic cards, and it was balance kept
Oh,
coming
okay.
over and over.
That's cool.
We're like the same kind of
Mm-hmm.
match. So when we get together, the energy is like heightened. So we talked about like super soldiers sometimes are made in pairs, and so they can work separately, but when they bring the two super soldiers together, like the energy goes massive and it's like rapid. So there's some kind of connection like that, and
I
I
can see
definitely,
you being like a communicator to him. So,
yeah, I think,
like above, like you would be telepathically speaking to him, and then he's in
yeah,
a suit, and then you can guide him above, and like an intercom kind of
yeah,
thing, but he hears it in his mind, and then so he would go and do the things, and then, in that way. So maybe it's a AI, maybe that's one of those
yeah.
reality, it's
Like
another
I think like
reality.
the left eye, I think we can literally sync in with each other,
Hmm.
in another aspect, obviously. But yeah,
Do you think it's his left eye or right eye, or is it the
I
same?
don't know, because there's definitely something going on my left eye. And when I questioned it with Peter the Insider, he said it's the femtide, so it's like, it takes over.
Mm. Mm.
But I can't find any reference to these femtides anywhere, so I'm trying to do research on that.
Well, it's just like nanotech, like that.
Yeah,
Hmm. Probably like little pieces of it that maybe assimilate in the eye when it's activated by the
yeah,
implant, and then it just looks through the world, probably can see, in different dimensions or something,
yeah.
in that way.
So one of the things we talked about in the other interviews was about this merge, this monarch umbrella refugee group, and there's supposed to be 12 people, and like three of them is me, Brian Sang, and Drago Reed. We're three out of the 12, and kind of we found each other now, but there's more.
Mhm.
Supposedly we were all connected together and rescued together at the same time. So can you get any feeling on this group of 12 potentially, from Monarch or Umbrella?
Did they tell you anything about it? Because I did look it
Not
up,
really.
and it says it's coined by the ACIO, that
Yeah, not
that
really.
merge. So there's not
They just kind of
anything out.
mentioned that I was rescued from Monarch by Kruger. And because there's all these other scientists who are like trying to kill me through time and space, apparently me and Drago volunteered to go into the clone program so that we could be hidden in all these multiple aspects. Um, so it's really mad. So I don't know.
I don't like so what do you want me to look at with that? Because I
Can you
don't.
get an idea that there's more people and like where are they? These 12 people.
But
Can you
they told you that there's just 12.
They said there's only 12
Oh,
people, and they
okay.
said they found five of them, and like I know two others. So
Hmm. Um, I
if
don't know. It's more of a file, and then
yeah,
these people have been selected in this group. So it's like a group file kind of thing.
yeah,
So, um, I mean, there would be 12 and whoever because um, it's just for that group, for the
yeah.
ACIO,
It's
because
like
it's
we're
their
12
file.
originals, 12 originals that they have rescued, and they call us the merge, right? That's all I know. And so that's
The
something.
Merc, the it's
uh
the it's the Monarch umbrella. So it's Monarch. So
refugee
it's the
group.
Mind
Yeah,
Program umbrella could be many of the projects. So it's like
yeah.
these people have been on all these projects. So it's like, but the refuge, like I didn't understand what
So that's
ref like a
refugees. We've been rescued. Yeah, so we're
rescue.
refugees. Yeah.
So then
Um,
someone rescued you. So I guess since the ACIO coined that
yeah.
MERG, that maybe they had some people sent out to create this group of 12, and that was going to
Yeah.
be the name of the group. And then so what missions, it's going to be that their file of what
But
that,
it doesn't sound like all 12 have been found in the here and now. but there's 12 in
I'm
other
sure.
contexts of existence. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
kind
sure
of spread
there's,
out
yeah.
everywhere, which
I'm
is a
sure
bit,
they know all of them. They
yeah,
just won't release their names and stuff,
possibly.
like
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
Possibly,
Hmm.
but it's, I mean, it's so random because like I'm in the UK and others are in America. But when they went through my files, there's so much reference to me being in DOMS in Arizona, like in the 1950s and things like that. So but there's also references to me being here in the UK. Like, so there's
Yeah.
different aspects of me, I guess, in different countries at different times.
Yeah, because you have the clones, and so they're just activated, like
Yeah.
wherever you have a clone created in all these places that have been, because the clones are sold to all
Mm,
the places, because they have all these abilities. So they're highly valued and cost lots of money, so they don't ever get rid of them. So they would keep them maybe in a cryogenic chamber or something, and then activated when needed,
yeah.
so there's different ones, but then there's civilian clones too that are still programmed. They might even be soulless, but they're just programmed to
Mm.
complete certain missions. So there's
So
many things that it could be.
if they were soulless, does that mean I'm not actually connected to them?
Maybe like you would maybe even have like a controlling them, as a remote controller, you maybe
Yeah.
sent them out to do these certain things, or
Yeah.
doing however it would be, because
Just,
it would be certain things that you wanted accomplished. Maybe send these people out to do this mission because this would be needed or help activate or however, and then so they fit in with everybody, like they look normal, they fit in and stuff, but they are like a remote control kind of consciousness, so they have a mission
yeah.
to do. Hmm.
Yeah, because there's meant to be versions of me that are handlers, and my
Hmm.
own handler is a version of me. It's like a clone of me,
Yeah.
and who's in China apparently. And
Oh yeah.
I do the heal the handler, so I talk to my handler sometimes, and they get really annoyed. So it's
You can
quite fun.
imagine how strict you are as a handler, like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty strict.
Like
Um,
you get when something doesn't get completed that you have your name on, then you you will almost deactivate that clone and do it yourself so it's completed. So you
okay,
don't leave anything ever open.
yeah,
You close it all out. After the mission, after the job is completed, you close it down and it's an empty base. There's
yeah,
no trace of you. It's like you wiped it clean, So if it's a ship, if it's a whatever it is, you wipe it clean and you were never there. You wipe all memory, you extract everything, there's
yeah,
no energy at all of you, there. So if somebody left a piece of hair, I mean you scan the whole place. You said, are
yeah,
you sure you got everything? And then they say yes, so you still go back and look, so you're like this German soldier person that's so strict,
yeah,
you know.
ruthless.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you would want all these things, all these say grays, if they're grays, then you would have them all programmed because you know that they most likely would follow every order, with no talking back, no slacking, no, because you wouldn't put up with that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm, that's cool. So the other thing I've got here is about Project Camelot. I don't know if you know much about Project Camelot.
Mm-mm, I
Um,
hadn't heard of that.
so I was a scientist. There seems to be a repeating theme. I'm a scientist, but there was a dog that was watching me, like it was in the lab with me, like
Dog.
yeah, and it was a really big dog that had a spirit in it, like a human soul. And so it was like it's literally recorded in the files that this dog Lillian was there. But I get the feeling that the dog was actually there watching me and would take me out if I didn't do the work
Hmm.
that was supposed to be done. So even though, so I wasn't in control of what I was doing there, that dog was there
Yeah.
to watch each of the scientists. They each had their own.
Hmm.
So And I even asked the question, was the dog like, when you see some people have the daemon and it's like a separate spirit entity as part of them, but it wasn't. The dog was separate and it had
No.
its
Hmm.
soul
It's
inside.
like a it's like a takeover, like the gray, like they would place these dog like a German Shepherd in there to watch, and then they could project their consciousness into the German Shepherd,
Yeah.
or whatever dog,
Yeah.
even, yeah, German Shepherd, and it's like a bigger dog, because
Yeah.
like
This one
a
is supposed to be like a mastiff,
uh-huh,
like
like a big dog, yeah,
yeah,
any
style of
kind
this
of big
dog.
dog,
Yeah. But when they
and
were talking about it, I really got this feeling like it wasn't a friend, it was watching me.
no, yeah,
You know,
it's like the like
it's
a
like a
gray
prison
being
guard.
there.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
having a prison guard, but it's like an animal in the corner.
because I almost feel like it could shapeshift,
Yeah,
because it was almost like it could shapeshift as well into, um, so I think it's projecting it as a dog,
yeah,
but then it can be, and it almost looks like a reptilian just then, like it shapeshifts into a dog. So maybe like you're not, but then, so if it was like a reptilian soldier standing over there over you with a gun, then
yeah,
you would get nervous, so then they have this dog, and you're just like not as afraid as the dog, like go away dog, or whatever, like you
yeah,
try to, but it doesn't do nothing, it's just watching, it's not as intimidating. So
yeah,
but I can see that it can shape shift back into there, so they can do that, maybe project
yeah. Because I
their
feel like when I
consciousness in it.
tune into that aspect of me, I know that that dog is there as a guard, and I feel like it's growling at me in a way as if
Hmm.
to say, "Come on, do the work, do the work." So it's like, it was scary. It's like a nervous feeling that I have
Yeah,
knowing that.
it barks at you, growls at you, gets on the
Yeah,
table and snaps at you, you
yeah.
know, and
So
and
there's an incentive to do the work because you know that it's just going to eat you if you don't, kind of thing, and you'll get regenerated, I guess. And yeah,
yeah, I don't know what
really
happens if
weird that.
it just bites you, because it's more,
Yeah,
because you're really controlled at that place, because you can't really like move or hit it or stab it, you can't do nothing to
yeah,
get it away. If it's in your face, it's just gonna, I guess, attack. So it seems like you're kind of stationed almost like in this little cubicle looking uh place or something, so I don't even know if you go to the bathroom, but if you did go to the bathroom, then you're escorted to the bathroom,
yeah. It
and
goes
then
with
you
you
have to come
everywhere.
back. Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like it goes with you everywhere.
Everywhere. But then there's more than, it almost seems like uh there's dogs watching above,
Yeah,
and even reptilians in their form watching above, you know, and then so they have the dog. I think they have that connection with they that dog, whatever, in that. And
yeah.
then so they're, but everybody there is in like a, it's like a, did you see what the room looked like and then what you were wearing
Everything
or what you were doing?
and literally everything just looks like white
Hmm.
lab coat kind of thing
Yep.
to me. So I'm not sure, but I feel like maybe it is underground, maybe it is in a dome, maybe it's
Hmm.
this planet,
So
maybe
do you know what age you are? Because it seems like you're little, seems
there's
like you're more little because you would be
yeah.
scared of a dog,
There's
because
different
as a,
references to me from being like 14 years old to
mhm,
being different, different ages.
mhm.
Um,
Okay, because then I
yeah,
do see that so this is like a reality. This is what I'm seeing. So I don't know if this matches whatever you with the file, however, with that, but
yeah,
then they do, it's like you live at this facility and it's all white and it looks like you're young, like you said, like 14, and all these kids too, and they are all spaced out. That there's no, you can't touch, you're not near anybody, so it's like, and no talking, and it's all white, and it's like you're in a gown, and it's like you're in almost like a psych ward place, it looks like in that way. But you would walk to your room like in a single file, and then the dog walks on the outside, and you walk
yeah.
against the wall and you walk,
Oh,
and then you
when
go
it's
into your
making
room and then you stand and then the door closes,
what's that
you
called?
know?
Um, what's that show with Jessica Alba when she's got the barcode on the back of her neck and she's like,
Oh, is that like the eye or something? The eye?
what's it called?
Is that the eye?
Hold on, I forget
I think
now.
it is the
Dark, is it
eye.
Dark Angel or something? Is it?
Oh, okay.
But
I
that's
don't.
like the kids are all in that facility and they've got their head shaved and they're like all they do is combat and whatever. But it kind of that's kind of what the whole way of like kids walking. That's what I saw.
Oh,
Um,
so it looks like you're.
talking about that.
Do you know what you're doing at this place? Because it's not it because it's something like for the kids, it's something with I keep thinking it's like a code breaker, something like with codes or something,
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
there's a reference to me and Sumerian codes. Um, and I was young in that, but I'm not too sure about that one. But I do have it written down somewhere.
Hmm.
I just started like decoding Sumerian tablets about free energy and cures and things like that. And then I was literally, you know, unalived for it
Hmm.
um, because they didn't want me to do that. But I just started translating apparently.
With that. Okay, so do you think that that's in that program or is
Yeah,
this
possibly because I was
yeah.
younger.
Hmm.
Um, trying to find the picture of the
You
kid.
know how brutal they treat you? It is
Yeah,
brutal what they do. Like the electroshock, they put you in the dentist looking chair to electroshock you to erase every single
yeah,
time you decode something and it's a progress,
yeah,
because you're so like in tune with it, with the programming, whatever it is,
yeah,
because it's like um yeah, because I was seeing like more computer looking thing too, but it's like you're synced up with the computer in a way, whatever that would look like. And then even if you look up, then that dog growls at you or snaps, like snaps
yeah,
at you. Like so you've learned not to look up,
yeah.
and you
It makes me feel
like
sick when you talk about this one.
yeah, I had like my
Oh,
stomach
yeah,
growled. Yeah, but it's like um yeah, you probably don't even get like a bathroom break or any kind of thing to eat until you go back to your cell, So you go back
yeah,
to your cell and then it's all white in there too. But I do see you have hair, but I don't know. I just see you, so I don't know if it's just you because I see you, but I know you might look different on the outside,
yeah.
in that way.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, and then you get out and they slide the food in the tray thing and then you eat or you not don't eat, whatever you want to do. And then you just stay in there and that's all. And then you're let out. But then they would let you out um to be electroshocked, or programmed to complete another thing. So then you go back in this and it's just a silent. It's silence. There's
yeah,
no noise or nothing like that in this whole place. It's like they don't even talk. So if you heard any kind of talking, it might even hurt or rupture your ears,
yeah.
too. So I think they might even do
Does that
that because
does
that
that
does hurt your
feel
ears
like
just now.
that's in the future in that where it's silent in
I
that
mean,
silent?
it could be any place, but
Yeah,
I mean, it could, because it does look like it's at a base, because I see it's like a, if it was underground, then you know how a labyrinth or facility would look, and then there's guards above, and they can see inside the place, like walking
yeah.
around above. So it's like that,
Because
and then they have
how
the
it actually
dogs.
feels, it feels like getting out of that lockdown and getting actually to do something feels exhilarating. Like it's like a drug in a way that when I actually do get out and I get to do something, I get to decode something or program or whatever it is, it feels good. So it's like you want it, even though you know it's going to hurt you. Because there's nothing else in your life. You're just there for that purpose. So it feels
Hmm.
exhilarating.
Yeah,
Uh,
like a pent up
yeah,
energy that needs to be
like you can't
exploded.
wait to do it. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Because it feels really heavy in my heart as I talk about it, but I get this kind of
Yeah.
surging feeling like I
Yeah, I
like I
see.
want to do it, like I want to get out. Like I don't want to be kept in that like, limited space. Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know how long you were kept there. I think it's I don't know. It could be a long time and you stay that age too, and they just
Yeah.
use you, they just regress you back, until
Yeah.
so you're continuously decoding things, and then you
Yeah.
decode the correct information, and then they would have something that messes it up, so then it's they have the original that's the correct, and then they mess it up, and then they put that out, with
Yeah.
they have other people that are like remote viewers or something, that connect with remote viewers, and then they give those remote viewers the information that's false,
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
Um, yeah, one of the things that was referenced was that the Greys like activate my remote view and send me off places like without me consenting, or maybe I have consented. But it happened a couple of years ago and I found myself in someone's house in California, but they could see me.
Mm,
And when I was talking to like Jessica about it, she was saying that the Greys literally just activated me and sent me out there unprepared, no idea. And because at the time I was only just starting to realize that I could do that kind of thing, and I would never
mm.
normally do it by myself. I'd always do it on a team, like
Mm.
on a grid work team or whatever. But
Maybe it was was it just like were you just, what were you doing? Like, just, was it probably practicing? Because,
at
if
the
that was
time
like nothing.
I was just in I was in meditation. I was actually at Crystal College, and as soon as I relaxed I found myself just appear in somebody's house in California, and it was
Mm,
like I was creeping through the hallway, but there was a man pacing in front of a fireplace and he was on a cell phone, but he saw me and it
mm,
absolutely freaked me out that he could see me, because I thought, well, this is obviously the astral realm, surely, like, is he operating in the astral?
mm,
And then I kind of pulled myself out, but then I was like flying consciously over like lakes in Canada or somewhere, so it was like I had no control over it whatsoever.
oh,
Freaked me
yeah,
out. And at the time someone had said to me, oh, it's just your guides showing you. But now, oh, it seems like it was the zetas who were just sending me off to gather information or to warn somebody, or something like that, so they activated me,
yeah.
kind of left me.
Probably sabotage mission or something,
Yeah,
trying to sabotage you, so you
yeah,
would get caught or something.
yeah, because it felt like, oh shit, he can see me, and
Hmm.
yeah, and he shouldn't have been able to see me, surely. So that
Yeah,
freaked
you shouldn't have been there. Like, it wasn't like something like that, because it was probably somebody and then reported seeing you, and then you
me.
maybe
Yeah,
have gotten in
so
trouble.
it was like they were trying to find my location or something like that. Um, but surely they know my location because I get so targeted.
Yep.
Um,
I'll draw a few cards for you here so we
yes,
can,
please. Yeah,
because it's already been an hour,
yeah,
like it goes by fast when
yeah, yeah,
you're searching and researching and
yeah.
talking and trying to find all these
Like find the
pieces.
pieces of the puzzle. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like it's an ongoing thing too, so you're never uh like it's never solved, because then you open one up and then there's more, so it's like
yeah.
that. So
It's
it's
like every day a little bit of something comes in now.
that's
It was
good.
after I had that session with Sean Bond, actually. It definitely activated something.
Hmm.
Like I was so hidden before, and I'd been awarded access to something. That's how it kind of felt. Yeah,
That's good. That's
yeah, it
really
was.
good.
Yeah. So I was like off the radar before.
Off the radar?
Yeah.
Were you off the radar?
I thought I was off the radar.
So did in the reading then with Sean then, so he was healing up some of your aspects too? Is
Yeah.
that what?
Yeah, because he was the first one to see the SSP connection and the Monarch connection, whereas before it was like it wasn't really visible. So
Mm,
I
I
was
see.
hidden away, and then he tapped into it, and then
It
suddenly,
activated or opened it up for you
yeah, I
like
opened
that?
it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It allowed you to access that. He probably cleared cleared that the block,
yeah,
that was blocking you from accessing that file of you, so then you could help open it up and heal it.
Yeah,
That's why, so you can heal it.
I hope so. Yeah.
So what was that aspect? Or I mean, that's just one aspect, but
Yeah.
because there's so many. So
Yeah.
there's with this SSP, because there's so many different groups and factions and
Mm.
many realities and aspects in all these
That's
places.
that's one of the things that's connected to that Project Camelot. It's like
Oh,
that's it as being a super soldier.
so
Uh,
what is that Camelot? I never heard of it.
I don't know, but it's in my file. So because I wrote it down.
They didn't tell you the definition of it?
Let me just see what I wrote down. So they're going to release that video. They just talked about I was in
Oh,
Project Ibis, which is time traveler with the time travel crystal.
okay. So
Um,
what's up with the
and
heat? Do you feel heat all of a sudden? Like, do you feel hot?
I've been
Really?
hot for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I feel really hot. And I
Yeah, but I've
think,
just got here Project Camelot SSP Super Soldier Program, and that's related to Dr. Black. So,
okay.
but I was young
So
in that one, but again, still, that's potentially still Arizona.
do you ever see yourself as a Sasquatch or Bigfoot or whatever, the forest people kind of thing
Uh,
in your area?
well, Sean Bond said I do have Tuatha De Danann DNA, so I've got like Fey Realm DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of decoded an experience I had when I was a kid, which was I now see that was a Sasquatch encounter,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of in the bushes. Freaked me out because in my mind, all I could see was like leaves, and then it made me afraid of the green man, the pagan
Mm-hmm.
symbol. But now I kind of see. I think that was a Bigfoot. So, but other
Yeah.
than that, I've not had like a personal. Um, I'm drawn to them, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
one of those things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I
But
feel them here,
I live in the
like
city,
that.
so yeah. Which
Mm-hmm.
card came out?
So I got the cards here. So let's
Yeah,
see. So I have the Christ consciousness.
cool.
I'll put it here. And some light codes here.
Okay.
So you're connected with the air element
Yeah.
to communicate
That's funny.
knowledge.
I'm literally just doing a class with my group about elemental crystal studies.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've got cards next to me that are all elements.
Hmm.
I've got it's the wind element.
Oh, cool. That is, yeah.
The
That's
crystals that go with that. So
wow.
yeah, I love doing the
Okay.
elemental work.
And then you got Pleiadian Star Council,
Yeah.
like a council woman, or
Well, I
yeah, I
do.
think it's a woman, a star
Yeah,
woman.
there's a Palladian aspect of me that's on a council in Venus.
Oh yeah, I can see
Love
that.
that
Mm-hmm.
confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like kind of like a statue too, like that they worship almost in a way, that would be because it's like
Okay.
a older, like a older ancient statue of you,
Yeah.
like that, and then you would have that line or whatever, the lineage or something of that star
Okay.
being, because it's
Yeah.
like a star being that they put into like a it looks kind of how like if it was a Statue of Liberty kind of thing, but different kind of,
Wow.
in that way. But it's like kind of like in the center there, maybe like a goddess, like
Okay.
that.
Well,
Hmm.
I mean, Audrey Walters last year said I'm like old enough that I should be able to choose whether I want to be a star in the next incarnation. So that's kind of cool.
Hmm.
So like I've done the rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it got shamanism.
Nice.
Definitely, definitely. Because you're connecting like with the stones, the ancient stones and the
Yeah.
relics and the ground and deeper underground too, where there's more where the power grid is and stuff, the ley
Yeah.
line of the place. So you would be able to activate it and amplify it, with whatever you wanted to say when you're out, because it's like you're a teacher, almost a scholar, wizard, kind of like that kind of thing. So if
Yeah.
you have like a wand or something, and you just write light codes or something,
That's
and
cool.
whatever, that activates.
Yeah, I'm a druid.
The horse totem,
This
and
is
that
quite
is
funny
freedom.
because yesterday we were working in my groups, we were working with unicorn energy.
Hmm.
So I was kind of like horse, unicorn, yeah, similar
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
So the horse is freedom. Oh, that's another air element too. So this
Okay.
gives more
Oh,
intellect, communication,
yeah,
change. The blue kyanite, those are the crystals too.
lovely.
Hmm. Oh, then this the
Ooh,
I don't know if it feels like, what does it feel like to you?
it
Is
just
it
feels really powerful here in my
mm-hmm,
third eye. Yeah.
like a gray, so maybe like a gray aspect of you that's really strict and stern to these little grays, So yeah, definitely so with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
100% you would have that. They would, because they're programmed to you, like as, you're so strict to them.
Okay.
Never give up with
I think
your
I got that
search.
card last time.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
ever give up.
Keep moving forward.
Hmm. Messenger. So this that's also the hawk energy. Messengers receive guidance from angels, ascension masters, or
Mhm.
or your higher self, but
Yeah.
messengers.
Cool.
That's like the air element too. Tell your story.
I'm working on my story. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
piece it together, trying to do a
Yep.
time. Yeah. I'm not ready yet.
Look, Kruger. I haven't gotten that.
That hasn't come out with anyone before.
I
Yeah, there
haven't seen
seems
it.
to be a theme in my ACIO files. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kruger connection there. Yeah. Apparently they rescued me and I'm somehow indebted to them. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. That
Yeah.
doesn't feel free, when you do that. So this Decomio, this flashing too. So that's
Yeah.
a Karuna Reiki symbol,
Yeah.
Decomio, and it's being.
Violet breath, violet flame. Yeah, bring it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love my violet flame.
And then you Sirius A. This
Okay.
is going to be the wolves. These are like your spirit guides or aspects of you. The
Yeah.
the cat people, the cheetah, aspects
Yeah.
that you would have. Definitely because you're not just in the program part. I know that we like to look at that too, but you can also ask these other aspects of you that's a cat, or a dolphin, or the praying mantis, because you have a praying mantis connection too, um and also the well, right now it just is the military reptilian right there. That's like, it looks like he's at a base, like it would be Area 51. I see kind of like that kind of image,
Yeah.
so that that connection with the young girl feels feels pretty strong right now for some
Okay.
reason with that. Like they are trying to have you do your work and decode all these things, because if you decode all these scripts and codes, messages, things, and how you do it is because of your DNA thing, like all this is within you, you have it within you. So you have, um, and they know too if you're trying to give the wrong message or translation, they know because they have like monitors on you,
Right.
like that or something, or that's just energy that's scanned,
Makes sense.
and they
You know, my
can.
arms here, I hate anybody touching my arms.
Oh,
Like my
okay.
arm, it's so sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just poked me gently, I bruise. It's like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
you doing that, that's so weird because it's like
Yeah.
that. I can't stand it.
Yeah. Yeah. The sensitivity in the arms is,
Yeah.
that's something you might, also, if you ever work on like getting one of those things that you can, like a spoon kind of looking thing that, if you get the massage things, how they use
Yeah.
those spoon looking things, and it hurts. And I
Yeah.
bruise every time. I have like big old bruises all over my whole arm, but it hurts really. I know what you mean by
Yeah.
that. Like on the
Yeah.
tricep area,
Yeah.
especially, like that. And then on my legs too. So it just is the blood flowing. But yeah, so t touching some of the areas on the body, like maybe touch or squeezing or pressure, like that kind of a thing, to get it moving, get the blood
Yeah,
flow moving and stuff too, might be good in that way, and then you can do your whole body with those. You can use whatever like
yeah.
even a stone if you want to, so um yeah. So what else did we want to wrap it up, or like
Yeah,
anything?
I think that's about it for today. That was really great. Thank you.
Yeah, so we
Um,
trying to find what the Orphan Black though, because that's the title with that, so
yeah,
it's gonna be.
so it's like me and Drago are both the opposite sides on that Orphan Black program, and that's been
mm,
confirmed a couple of times now. So we're just out there everywhere. But in the program, like the males were used in the military and the females were used for surrogacy, like the babies were put in there and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's true or not. I just know that we're both in this multi-clone program
mm,
that's
yeah.
be
Well,
what all.
so that would be some of the clones, would be probably like on the Orphan Black, how only one of them could reproduce,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
but there's
So
also assassins and spies, and then some,
yeah,
but they all don't know about each other. So when they get together, so I don't
yeah,
think they ever get together when real
no,
in this life,
really, yeah, they're not meant to get together, but
hmm
ones. But there's versions of me who are like assassins in like Korea, in China and Saudi Arabia, and then there's like the military versions of me that are like a Diego Garcia,
hmm
and all off world and stuff like that. So
hmm
I'm not too sure about the locations for Drago stuff, but I guess we'll see in the future. But I
He's
know he's fine
busy.
in that
He's
like
real
rock.
busy, too, like how you would be, how your clones are busy doing stuff. So you would never be able to catch him,
Yeah,
because he's
he's
like
really hard
all
to track
over,
down.
you know.
Yeah, but it's mad. So yeah, it's been confirmed two or three times now that me and him are supposed to be paired up in that Orphan Black program.
hmm
So it's really weird. And
Paired
then
up, like
yeah,
you'd be brothers, like that with the
yeah,
D. So that might be
it's
part
like
of
a
that.
DNA connection or something. Same augmentations, same targeting program.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of similarities
So
there.
one of those ones where they're kind of uh doing all the testing and stuff might be one of those clones,
Yeah,
So they're testing to see what the clone can handle, and then putting him
yeah,
in that environment more too to be to so that's
yeah.
so
So
yeah, there's a lot.
yeah,
There's a lot of pushing you to the max, and then so that's probably why like electroshock and stuff with that, then it's hard to sleep because I think you would
yeah,
maybe feel the some kind of a current, in a
yeah,
way of these others, in a way, because it's so extreme. And I
yeah,
think that's meant because it's the same group that would target you here and follow you around and stuff like that.
yeah,
So it's like it's same connected. So I think you're one of not the clones, but like in the Orphan Black, you're one of them, the
yeah.
agents as that. So
Because
you're
it's like
followed and
we're
targeted.
the subject and we're the scientist at the same time, but it's different versions of us, but we're like
hmm
in the same, you know,
Yeah, it's
organization.
like clones of you, but they all look a little bit different too,
Yeah,
like
different.
their own personality too.
Yeah,
They could be different ages. They could be, because they can regress you to different, have all these different, like if you're making a cake and stuff and you're just putting like that in and then get this one out this time, this one, so they're all different ages,
yeah,
but they all can have the same kind of, when they're in, like if it's a cake or whatever, you program it all to be this thing, and
yeah,
then you take this one out first and then program it and then put it over here and then take this one out and program it and put them over here, so
yeah,
they just kind of do different missions. But I see you
yeah,
as the programmer as well. So I think that, like I can see like the Grays, like the Orion Grays, they would be like, you would be controlled by them as well as one of the programmers, a
yeah.
programmer, not handler. That's different than this because they watch you do that too. So
So it's like there's no way I can get free of these Zeta Greys then, who are like
it's
tormenting me
everywhere. I mean,
now.
it's everywhere, but like with the Ryan that you have that's another reality, you know, that's like, so then, and they, it's, and, you know, they're highly advanced. I mean, this, and they can erase time and stop time and put, you know, do all the stuff that we can't do here. So that kind of doesn't even phase them to say, I don't want to be a part of it anymore. Then they just kind of laugh or whatever. They
Yeah.
don't laugh, but
I
you
did
know,
I
they
did
don't care.
try recalling consent and things like that. I've tried
Mhm.
that recently.
Yeah.
Something
Not
did
with
move
them.
back recently, but I still feel like it's all there,
Yeah.
it's all going on. Because I got hit with so much pain afterwards.
Yeah.
And my internet basically went down for like 3 days.
Mhm.
And, I switched, actually, that's what it was. I switched off the internet in the night because my son was
Mhm.
gaming quite late. So, I'm going to switch it off and I'm going to take the router, I'm going to hide it. And and then the next day I put it back on and I couldn't get a proper connection for like 3 days. And it was as if the handlers are saying, don't ever do that again. Because they
Mhm.
gave me it's a pain and I couldn't connect my internet properly. And it was insane. So for like 3 days afterwards, I got hit with massive targeting.
Mhm.
And it was really
Yeah.
intense. And
Mhm.
yeah. And
Sabotaging.
I kind of had to
Sabotaging.
say, okay, I won't do it again. I won't switch it off
Yeah.
again. And I got my
Mhm.
internet back. It was like that. So,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
insane. Yeah.
it's difficult with that because it's, I mean,
Yeah.
once you leave this reality, then you can kind of see and from a higher perspective, you know, because it's a vibration too that they
Yeah.
keep us pressing. It's like a press feeling, you know, that they keep a low frequency. And then
Yeah.
so if you can get above it and
Yeah.
you know, out of it, then you can see it and break it, you know. So
Yeah.
that's but they
Really
keep
hot, really hot on the back of my head as you say that.
yeah.
Like
Well,
all
like
crazy.
I would, if I were you, I would maybe even ask the Sasquatch people to
Yeah.
assist you with healing, with remembering, with helping you open up more of your memories so they can be healed. You know, things like
Yeah.
that. So there'll be a lot because you have a lot more, you know, in that way too. So you can do that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need more elemental help, basically, don't I? To combat all
Mm-hmm.
this technology.
Yeah, because they're good with the healing because they're so the heat I think is from them, you know, from the Sasquatch. Like I can see them in my mind and feel that heat, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like um it just is their presence, you know, their presence is that you feel that heat in your whole body.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I get that. That's cool.
Hmm. So
Thank
okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
end
that's great. So
the
much.
thing and then I think I don't think I have to end it on the restream. I'll just end it on here.
Okay, I'm not
And
sure if it recorded on my side